call us Linoon's Extreme Speed because we're back already.
With the match I'm most excited about in top 8, we have James Eakes versus Matthew Greaves. We have that Seismitoad back in top 8 after, this happened in Portland too, where we saw Seismitoad in Swiss. I didn't like it at all, and then it's back in top 8.
Do you like it now?
Doing really well. We'll see. We'll see how it does in this top 8 match when it's faced up against another Mega Gengar like we saw last round, but played maybe a little bit more defensively minded than we saw in that very quick match.
You said it earlier, and I wholeheartedly agree. Matthew is definitely a Wolf-esque player. He has a preference for the defensive, and he's not afraid of using odd little quirks on his team.
Yeah, quirks like that belly drum kommo-o that we mentioned earlier. Just another setup option, kind of overwhelm your opponent with physical offense if you get the chance.
I mean, there's a lot of interesting dynamics in this matchup. Mawile looks very scary, but you have Volcarona. There's going to be the way in how you prevent that Trick Room from getting up. They both have Shadow Tag. They're going to be like, you're it, I'm it, ha ha ha. You have Tapu Bulu, which looks pretty nice against Rain. You have that just bizarre kommo-o set. There's so many things, just in case you guys didn't catch those teams who don't quite remember. From Matthew, we have Gengar, kommo-o, Tyranitar, Hitmontop, Volcarona, and Tapu Bulu. All from James, we have Seismitoad, Mawile, Gothitelle, Mimikyu, Tapu Koko, and Politoed.
So I think one of the most important dynamics here is that Tyranitar should be a pretty valuable Pokemon for Matthew. It changes the weather. It does really well against Gothitelle and Mimikyu, but does not want to be up against Mawile at all, which means that Mawile, already one of the most important Pokemon for James, as his Mega, is also going to be crucial for handling that Tyranitar. And so that double weight on Mawile is going to make it, every time it's on the field, every time it's under threat, it's going to be very, very crucial that James makes the most of it. Whether that means just playing with it in his rain mode or trying to take the most advantage of it by setting up Trick Room is going to be something he's going to have to decide and maybe see both of those options in these different games of the best 2 out of 3.
I mean, I think Volcarona's role is also very interesting because it's I think the primary check for Mawile on this team, but normally you don't want to bring that against a rain mode.
Yeah, and it's probably Rage Powder support.
I would think so.
Not good against Seismitoad with its muddy water, so it can be really challenging for it against some of these Pokemon.
From Matthew, we see Gengar and Volcarona taking the field, while from James, we see Mawile and Gothitelle, the classic Goth-Maw combo, dated 2014, reappearing on stage for you. I think the Shadow Tag game is already in effect. Volcarona, the only thing it can't switch yet, but the Shadow Tag from Gengar will prevent the Mawile from switching as well.
Yeah, but crucially, this Mawile can switch this turn, and I think it'll want to because it does not like being in against this Volcarona. And if there is something like a Politoed in the back that can switch in against this Volcarona instead, I would fully expect James to take advantage of this one turn where Shadow Tag isn't up yet and bring in a much better answer to this Volcarona before he's forced to take an overheat with that Mawile.
Gothitelle getting out of there. He doesn't want to risk taking a Bug Buzz or anything possible Bug Z move, maybe. Politoed taking the field. We're going to weaken the firepower, make Mawile's fire weakness much less of an issue, as it has a lot of free rain here to deal a lot of damage. Oh, but he doesn't even go for it. Probably the Seismitoad switch. Excellent. I like that switch, that quick adjustment to the rain mode from the Trick Room mode. I think that's the kind of play that's going to prove pretty difficult to handle for Matthew. Mega Gengar revealing its Shadow Tag ability now. He's kind of stuck in the rain mode, and that's only unfortunate because this is where Tyranitar could be pretty useful. The Shadow Ball, free damage here. The Shadow Ball into Politoed, hopefully not doing too much since it is the slower, bulkier set, as we do see the overheat from that Volcarona. Going to do not too much damage to the Seismitoad and weakening it.
Yeah, a really good double switch there to pivot to the rain mode. You take some damage on that double switch, but not too much. You're kind of content with that if you get both Pokemon in healthy because it did give you so much field advantage. Seismitoad now the fastest thing on the field. Those helping hand boosted, Life Orb boosted, rain boosted Muddy Waters are such a massive threat. It can be easily a KO on Volcarona and so much damage against Gengar. It might be even a threat of a KO on its own.
Going right for the kommo-o, trying to create as much pressure as possible, not even switching out the Gengar. No weather changes. The Muddy Water is going to come out here for free, potentially even... not used to helping hand going before Protect. It's just odd. But we're just going to see Muddy Water hit the kommo-o. Probably not too much damage thanks to that Dragon typing, but still a position where James is pretty comfortable.
Yeah, he's happy to get the damage he got, and nothing's really going to stop him from doing it next turn.
Oh, my. I mean, that was awesome. Not only did that do just way more damage than I expected, but the accuracy drop, I'll take those all day.
I'd be interested to see, this Seismitoad likely has Earth Power.
Yes.
You can probably KO either of these Pokemon if you go for the Earth Power instead of the Muddy Water. If you can prevent the Clangorous Soul Blaze, or it can't be a Belly Drum at this point, but the Clangorous Soul Blaze from that kommo-o, or just KO this Gengar before it's able to move. It could be really valuable. We'll have to see if that's what James decides to do, or if he just wants to keep getting a really solid spread damage out there with that Muddy Water.
No switches, once again, either not willing to risk that T-Tar, or just doesn't even want to deal with the potential incoming damage. Muddy Water, again, he doesn't go for the Earth Power, where we might be able to see kommo-o go for that Clangorous Soul Blaze. Gengar not being able to protect this time, having done it last turn, but both Pokemon taking it. Another accuracy drop on the kommo-o, but the Z-move doesn't care about that too much if that's what he goes for. Shadow Ball on the Seismitoad. Gengar does have a very large attack stat, but, oh, yep, able to pick up the Seismitoad. It's just Politoed, and that Clangorous Soul Blaze. We do see him come out. Special little dance. This is about a minute animation. So in the meantime, Politoed going to take a ton of damage here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Muddy Water, both Pokemon hanging on, it's so much damage.
Yeah.
You feel like you really want to go for it, but because both Pokemon hang on, you don't get any KOs, and you allow both these Pokemon to attack, which means you give up 2 KOs. I think that Earth Power would have been a much stronger option to maintain momentum, because now you're going to be dealing with kommo-o with its boost. You're going to not have your Swift Swim Mon anymore, and that Volcarona is still in the back to handle that Mawile and Gothitelle. Really a weak position now for James.
Oh, wow. That really did not do nearly as much as I thought it would, especially considering you have single target damage now. Politoed really taking that like a champion. But the situation could be a lot worse, because he at least has a position now where Volcarona's in front of me. Mawile has this room to breathe. I can set up a Trick Room if I want. Opts to go for the Mawile over the Gothitelle. I mean, makes sense to me. You don't want to take that Shadow Ball damage for free, especially next to that big kommo-o. And the Intimidate, knowing that it has physical moves, actually might be relevant.
Well, and the Sucker Punch may be really valuable here if Mawile has it, threatening obviously the KO against either of these Pokemon with how low their HP is. If you can, KO the Gengar, kommo-o doesn't get either of these KOs, and then Politoed KOs kommo-o back. That's another big swing in momentum where these 2 KOs that you just barely miss with Muddy Water, you go ahead and clean up. The other hand, if Volcarona can get in and start Rage Powdering away things like that Sucker Punch, whatever Mawile's trying to do, eventually as the rain expires, threaten that Overheat, could be really dangerous for James.
It could still really go either way, but you have to keep in mind that Matthew's not too far away from a position where he has to deal with the Parasong. kommo-o doesn't even want to deal with it. He was fine with just the damage from the Soul Blaze on the previous turn. Volcarona taking that space. The Mawile going to its Mega Form. You're going to see a Sucker Punch. The question really is, which slot did he go for? Hopefully it's the Gengar, just based on this position. You get the Water Attack follow-up, but it really could have gone either way there.
Yeah, I was not surprised to see Gengar Protect. Not worry about Sucker Punch this way.
Yeah, but just making it so the Sucker Punch did nothing on that turn, and the Scald goes for the Gengar slot instead.
Yeah, if that had gone into the Volcarona slot, it would have been huge. Now Volcarona free to, maybe Rage Powder to set up Gengar, but Gengar doesn't really threaten all that much against either of these Pokemon. Volcarona just getting off the Overheat on its own on Mawile might be more valuable, but you're risking Politoed just countering with that Scald onto Volcarona. I don't think you have the offense to put Politoed off the field this turn, so maybe just another opportunity to continue to pivot around, wait for this rain to expire.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely has the tools in order to avoid, I think Scald is pretty safe, just because if he goes for Rage Powder, you still hit it. If you hit the Gengar that's trying to protect to get around your Sucker, you still nail him. But the weather control, he doesn't even have to risk the Gengar. He can just go into the other slot, which is the kommo-o again. Willing to risk it. The Z-move has been burnt. It's not doing too much against the Mawile primary team. Volcarona just going for the Protect. You don't want to take Scald, which it just goes right into. But Mawile not going before the Politoed, indicating that it did not go for the Sucker, but it goes for the Play Rough in the Volcarona slot, anticipating a switch.
And now the rain does expire, meaning that Overheat's going to definitely be the KO on Mawile, and Scald probably isn't the KO on Volcarona anymore without the rain boost.
But, I mean, we were used to Shadow Tag being there the whole game, and this is the first turn it's just completely off the field. You can get Gothitelle to switch back in, and knowing that kommo-o doesn't really threaten you anymore with that Clangorous Soul Blaze, Gothitelle might be able to come in here fairly safely.
Yeah, if you can switch Gothitelle in to take the Overheat, trap Volcarona in at -2 special attack, then pivot later to get the rain back in, and just eliminate Volcarona, could be really valuable.
Going for the Gothitelle switch over on the Politoed slot instead of the Mawile slot, probably going to see the following Protect on the Mawile, just because it creates the situation in which you can reset the rain. Also, no switch from Matthew, so we're having that Shadow Tag effect once again. Their little game of tag taking some interesting directions is the Drain Punch, the physical move on the kommo-o. And, kind of amusing considering it's had such a low health, but not really going to get too much from that Gothitelle. The Volcarona does go for the Overheat. While it did go into a Protect, at least it didn't get that drop, but because Rain is almost undoubtedly going to return, you take that fairly well.
This is a really dangerous turn for James. If Gothitelle doesn't have Protect, maybe it's easy to go for the Clanging Scales and Bug Buzz to eliminate Gothitelle if that's an option. If Bug Buzz is there, not a given for sure. At the same time, if Mawile takes an overheat, no switch.
That Drain Punch actually did a lot to the Mawile. I wonder if it's physically inclined instead. That would make a lot of sense considering it really did. Oh! Whirlwind! I mean, that was a solid attempt, or solid read by James. Didn't pay off because of the miss. Forcing the Politoed back, excellent Trick Room counter, which in my mind was undoubtedly what he was going for.
Yeah, I was looking to get the Trick Room Politoed at this point. Also going to play it as a Trick Room mode Pokemon with the speed that Matthew still has, but Whirlwind able to deny that Trick Room, but still brings in the Rain for James.
Yeah.
Make that Mawile feel a little more comfortable against Volcarona, but now has taken chip from Drain Punch. Another Drain Punch overheats easily at KO, even without the
he just goes for the Helping Hand. Probably confident that the Rain will help him take everything, going for a Sucker Punch, maybe the Protect on the Volcarona. I can't imagine that he was really going for a Helping Hand move into the kommo-o slot, but he did. He's pretty. Oh, 1 HP! Those Drain Punches are coming in! And that did a bunch of damage. Really, that Drain Punch. Oh, that was a crit. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Those Drain Punches are just really. They're paying off here. I'm shocked.
Yeah, that 12 HP from the Drain Punch on to Gothitelle just a few turns ago saves kommo-o from that Sucker Punch, that Helping Hand boosted Sucker Punch there, and keeps it on the field, gets Mawile's health even lower. Now Volcarona can very comfortably KO Mawile. Volcarona probably protecting itself there, not wanting to take a Scald from Politoed. I think James managed to read that, but then just didn't get the damage he needed from that Sucker Punch.
That's very unfortunate. Just so close to those Drain Punches, just paying off dividends. Gothitelle returning to the field. Shadow Tag back in effect. Once again, you don't really care about Volcarona kommo-o too much, but now that we know that Whirlwind is there, it kind of changes our perspective on things a little bit.
Yeah, that Drain Punch comes out, does pretty good damage to that more specially defensive Politoed.
Overheating to the Gothitelle, but the Rain not going to do too much damage. The Drain Punches are the real star here. It's just he's gaining so much for them. The Scald able to pick up a 2-hit KO on the Volcarona, so you can now have that situation where you Scald the Volcarona slot and set up the Trick Room because it will no longer be able to Whirlwind successfully.
Yeah, if Drain Punch doesn't pick up the KO onto Politoed.
Yeah, it's a little. I think Politoed's just a bit too high, and he's looking to go into berry range from another one.
I think he's already.
Has he?
Eaten that berry.
Oh, you're right. The Clanger Soul Blaze earlier. Maybe a Drain Punch overheat, assuming no other attacking move.
And allowing the Trick Room to go up and just having a 4-2 lead. Lots of options here. Volcarona is trapped in there at -2 special attack, already overheated and has the Shadow Tag up against it.
Yeah.
kommo-o also trapped in here, but not so being uncomfortable with being trapped. Content to continue to Drain Punch this Politoed, get health back. We've seen its health so low already multiple times.
Oh, goes for the Protect. I don't know if that's going to pay off because Whirlwind is a very safe press there, I think. kommo-o. Oh, going for his partner. Hopefully no Flame Body activation. Just get that free little chunk of HP.
Oh,
Flame Body.
Gosh.
Oh, no. Oh, activating the berry. Very smart. I love that activation, even if that kind of hurts kommo-o more than it needed to. But the Whirlwind, very safe little play.
Well, because what it would have done is if Scald had come out, like you said, to Scald plus Trick Room and prevent the Whirlwind, that Drain Punch coming first would have activated the berry, would have taken the Scald, and then Whirlwind would have landed, denying the Trick Room for another turn. I think it was a brilliant play by Matthew.
I think there's too much resource whittlement. I think that Matthew is going to take this game just if James can't pull out something.
I don't know.
Here.
I mean, Volcarona's at -2 special attack. kommo-o is burnt. Just there's so little offense from Matthew's side now. He does still have that Gengar in the back, but its health is so low. It's, I mean, obviously in range with that Sucker Punch. kommo-o, of course, being that mixed attacker, also has the Clanging Scales, but you're not going to be able to use that against Mawile.
Just the Helping Hand once again going for another Sucker Punch, I assume. Maybe the Volcarona slot this time, but Volcarona, aware of that, just going for the Protect, realizing that it still has its usefulness in that Whirlwind slot. Failed going right into the Volcarona slot once again. The Drain Punch into the Mawile this time, not picking up the KO thanks to that burn. But, enough health to really negate that burn damage. Rain gone once more.
Yeah, Rain gone once more means that Overheat, instead of being kind of a quarter of its normal damage, is back to just being half of its normal damage. Based on the moves we've seen from Volcarona, definitely the only offense it has available to it. And so even Politoed, it would be a overheat if it was ever forced to attack Politoed. For now, going to be looking to get damage on that Mawile and that Gothitelle, or switch out, get rid of those traps.
I am finally revealing the Hitmontop. The Pokemon I thought was most safe to assume, just because the Intimidate Fake Out support really creates a situation for Matthew to play the board just a little bit more, even if they're double fightings in a Mawile Gothitelle matchup. Gothitelle returning to the field once more without Volcarona around. You might be able to finally see this Trick Room go up, but it might be too late considering the damage on Mawile.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a couple turns away because that Fake Out can just come out towards Gothitelle next turn.
Yeah, there's still quite a road to go. Scald hitting the Hitmontop, a burn would go. I mean, burns might help in general, but you know the other dragon is reminding us who's really burnt here.
Yeah, I mean, Fake Out Clanging Scale seems like a solid play here. I don't think this kommo-o is very especially offensive based on the damage we saw from Clanger's Soul Blaze earlier, so not much damage output there, but because now kommo-o's burnt, just as good as Drain Punch anyway.
Fake Out onto the Gothitelle, not ready to let you set up that Trick Room as the Clanging Scale sends that Shockwave out. Not enough to pick up the KO on either slot because this is a more physically oriented dragon. But pushing Gothitelle into its berries situation, getting up to about 75% of its health. Scald just hitting the kommo-o slot, trying to create a situation where you can you're now able to make it so that you aren't recovering from Drain Punch, even if you're using it.
Yeah, I think Politoed may be in Clanging Scales range, but Gothitelle definitely isn't. I think this is finally a turn where Trick Room shouldn't be preventable, and I think James in desperation is going to need to go for it. I mean, he's just losing resources constantly, like you said. All those health bars are so low. He's going to need Trick Room and going to need speed control to try to quickly work his way through Matthew's team.
Protect, I think that's a very good play. You need all the Pokemon on board positioning that you can get right now. There's no way that kommo-o and Hitmontop are going to be able to combo up to take down that Gothitelle. One of the important factors, I think, to keep in here for the long run is that we know from James' previous game on stream that Taunt forced it to struggle. That means there's no Psychic. And Psychic actually something that would be huge here as you hit super effective damage on kommo-o, Hitmontop, and Gengar, two of which are just in the lowest health possible.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the definite KO against kommo-o and Gengar, and a lot of really valuable damage against Hitmontop. Maybe combined with a Scald would actually be the KO there also.
He might have been able to clean up house if Psychic were there, but now he has to go through this much harder path. I don't know if 4 turns of Trick Room, when you consider all the protects available, is going to be enough.
And only single target attacks available to you. Only Iron Heads, Play Roughs, Sucker Punches, and Scalds.
Oh, no. Scald hitting that Hitmontop, you really need that burn damage. You just need anything you can get at this point, but he's not getting it. The close combat retaliation into the Politoed slot, finally removing our buddy. No more rain in this matchup as he forces James into the Gothitelle Mawile situation, the classic itself. kommo-o not doing too much here, just getting the burn damage, but he's really done his job this game already.
Yeah, kommo-o, despite the beginning looking like it wasn't going to do much. It got that Clanger Soul Blaze for pretty minimal damage, then was immediately forced to switch. But that Drain Punch has kept it healthy and on the field for so long, able to put so much damage out. It's really been valuable. We didn't see how kommo-o factored into the defensive style that Matthew plays immediately, but now you can see it. It just has so much staying power.
I don't know if we've seen all the moves on Mawile either. It's very difficult because of the lack of Psychic, but a Rock Slide on there would have created a situation where even with that 17-second timer, you could take it home. Play Rough removing him on top from the field, but interesting play. I think he does expect Gothitelle to have that Psychic. This is really showing the lack of prep time for the top 8 effect. This has the potential to change. Because the burnt kommo-o, even with, I don't think it can outdo Drain Punch.
No, I don't think it can. I don't think it can KO Mawile from this health. We also could see like a heal pulse from this Gothitelle.
Yeah, fully.
But like you mentioned, the timer's a problem.
Yes.
11 seconds.
I mean, it takes like 3 seconds to press the buttons.
Volcarona is bulky enough Pokemon against Mawile's offense that it should be able to just stay on the field for 11 seconds.
But so we haven't seen all the moves yet. If it has Rock Slide, he can win this game. Helping Hand.
Here it is.
Show me the Rock Slide. Rage Powder. Okay, that's fine. And it does confirm Volcarona's full moveset for the rest of the game. Fire Fang, not Rock Slide. But outside of Rain, with the Helping Hand, enough. But the Flame Body is devastating.
Oh, that's
even with the weak attack power of Drain Punch at this point. Oh, he goes for the Clanging Scales.
Continues to not Drain Punch this
dude, I think... I think James just won, dude. If the burn damage KOs kommo-o and you force out Gengar, oh my, that's nuts! Oh, dude!
Gengar's going to be having to look
6 seconds left.
Gengar's going to be having to look for a multi-protect here. Enough
Yes.
protects to either stall that timer or stall Trick
Oh
Room. By the time you stall
my.
Trick Room, Mawile will have gone down to burn, and then Gengar can just outspeed and KO Gothitelle. This is going to come down to how many protects Gengar can
James'
get
timer not
sitting
move
at
at all?
HP. How fast
no,
can
it's
James
because,
click
it's
buttons?
because they don't show it. Okay, does he not have heal pulse? That's so scary. Yeah, Gengar just going for the protect. I feel like the heal pulse was just so safe right there.
Well, you don't need Helping Hand, so clearly I think that's revealing.
Yeah, I
no
mean,
heal
right?
pulse.
But like, what would the other? Oh, he tried to taunt the Lele in the previous game.
All right.
Okay, now
this is it.
Oh, the time, dude. Go! That's crazy.
This is it. Did the move come off? Does the double protect
I mean,
land?
you have to not sucker punch, right? You have to fire. Do you get this turn? I don't even know how timer works.
You need to, just a
you have to Fire Fang like Trick Room.
Fire Fang. I mean, you just.
Oh wait, he could have taunted on the last turn, and then Helping Hand was wrong. No matter what,
taunt would have just gone into protect.
I guess, but like
nothing matters. It just is whether or not this double protect lands.
Yeah, it's
whether or not
nuts.
he got to get the move off.
This. Helping Hand going in, not going for
he
that.
He got the
Trick
move
Room.
off.
Shadow Ball.
Oh, the Trick Room expired. The Shadow Ball. Yeah.
Wait, but who has more health? Or no, the kommo-o is there. There's definitely, I think.
No, it's over.
Oh, and time. Yeah. That was a nail biter. Wow. Excellent positioning by Matthew. Very resiliency by James. Woo! Oh, man.
What a close end game.
That was excellent. I mean, there's so many highlights there. The drain punch from the kommo-o, the drain punch into the Volcarona, the so close comeback by that Mawile slot.
Yeah, I think Matthew may be taking a few turns to kind of recognize what was going on with this Gothitelle, kind of what he was working with, how little he needed to worry about what Gothitelle was doing. If he could have gone for those drain punches sooner against Mawile and gotten off the field, we wouldn't have set such a nail-biter there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him for going for the Muddy Water earlier. It was definitely a potential damage roll. And if he had protected with the kommo-o, gone for an offensive move with the Gengar, that was a bad situation. So that in itself, unfortunate. Kommo-o definitely he was that hang in there baby cat poster that
just keep on
all
drain
9
punching.
lives. My brain is scrambled eggs right now. That was insane.
Yeah, that game one flipped so many times. We saw the early game just heavy rain offense, all this damage coming out. And then once those Pokemon were gone, it slowed down so much. It was just this methodical game of Politoed and Mawile and Gothitelle trying to find their opportunity and just barely missing it.
I'm almost surprised they went away from team preview that fast. I feel like I need more air. Adjustments. The adjustments are going to be huge here. I really don't expect Matthew to change up his Pokemon selection that much.
I think it's really interesting he didn't bring Tyranitar, deciding that Mawile is too big of a problem for it and doesn't need a counter to rain. Will be interesting to see if he continues that going into Game 2.
Same leads for Matthew, but this time James going for the rain mode first instead of the Gothmog combination. And I think this might pay off a lot, especially if Tyranitar has not made a reappearance.
Yeah, I mean, he was forced to double switch on turn 1,
Yeah.
giving up decent chunks of damage. Now, not going to have to do that. Just immediately threatening that Helping Hand, Life Orb boosted, Rain boosted, Muddy Water, that's so much damage. We saw it just barely miss the one-hit KO on Gengar. Should be easily the one-hit KO on Volcarona, I think.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you might not even want to go for the Muddy Water. We know that Gengar was able to take the Helping Hand boosted Muddy Water in the previous game. Maybe you just go for the Earth Power and try to scald the next slot. A Scald Burn on there would be excellent, but doesn't stay in with the Politoed. Goes right for the Mawile. Excellent little read there, especially if you have any really offensive backup from Seismitoad, which, I mean, there was no reason to protect on that turn. So Seismitoad going to create a safe situation for Mawile to get in. Gengar going into its Mega State, but just based on the defensive nature of Matthew, wouldn't be at all surprised from him to protect in that slot.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a risky play to not protect. You have to worry about that Earth Power coming out. And so it does just protect itself.
I mean, true to his nature, going right for the protect, guaranteeing that you get that Shadow Tag set up. And, you know, James aware of that as well, going right for the Muddy Water. But kommo-o dodging it. Even if it wasn't enough damage, it's still just really annoying to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it's valuable damage. It'd be like 30% damage to that kommo-o.
Yeah.
We saw how long it took to do every bit of chip damage to that kommo-o. That's a big miss. But if you can just get that kommo-o with one player off, then the chip damage doesn't matter.
Mawile really remedies that situation a bit, especially because you now really have that real opportunity to just go for that Earth Power. Hitmontop instead, maybe trying to make it so that the Intimidate... I mean, in my mind, he undoubtedly protected kommo-o this turn to try and enable a fake-out situation on the next turn. But Seismitoad, once again, the Pokemon with the most freedom here, I would say. Mawile entering its Mega State. I mean, and I agree. I don't think that the Intimidate offered enough value not to just try and be that offensive presence. Yeah, kommo-o going for the very safe Protect. I think James needs to be kind of aggressive. Matthew's patterns, they're definitely showing the Earth Power into that Hitmontop slot. Probably not going to be enough to take out. Slightly above half. Oh, yes. Oh, no.
Not quite predicting that Hitmontop switch in. Going for the safe play rough against kommo-o that keeps it from doing anything too big this turn, and continuing to just offer a lot of offensive presence. Even if you manage to fake out Mawile and prevent a play rough from coming out this turn, you're allowing another big Seismitoad attack. Of course, you may be in exchange allowing that kommo-o to set up, whether it's that Belly Drum or that
I don't think you're going to see Belly Drum in this set. There's no way. Keeping the Seismitoad in there, I was wondering if you'd switch into the Gothitelle. Seismitoad going right for that Muddy Water, just trying to create as much damage out there as possible. I don't think this should pick it up on the Hitmontop based on the Earth Power damage. No, yeah. So Hitmontop goes into the Berry range. kommo-o free to do whatever boosting move it wants. I don't imagine he was satisfied with just the simple...
And it is. It's the perfect opportunity for a Belly Drum. Why not? You're preventing that Mawile from attacking. That Muddy Water Earth Power just isn't enough damage combined with the Belly Drum damage to get to prevent the Belly Drum on
But
kommo-o.
you can just go for Earth Power.
But you can Drain Punch at some point. You just have to continue to pivot. Yeah. You got to get Hitmontop back off the field, get something else in to give you the opportunity to get that Drain Punch off, start getting kommo-o healthy again. You know, we did see Matthew make a kind of big risk with Belly Drum in an earlier match on stream where he got it up but then had to just immediately give up kommo-o for a KO. He's going to need to do a better job of protecting that kommo-o and making the most of the Belly Drum now.
Mawile getting out of there, kind of realizing that what the situation is coming down to. Going for Gothitelle, creating a situation in which these fighting types don't have a ton of damage, even with that kommo-o setup. And I really hope he did not go for the Hitmontop KO, because that's exactly what Matthew wants. He wants the situation to go for him to be able to get into that Gengar. Close combat going on the Seismitoad, but not enough. So now we have the trapped fighting types looking pretty good. kommo-o just burned that Protect. Yeah,
didn't manage to find a pivot, didn't have the damage to get rid of Seismitoad, and so now it should be able to just use that Swift Swim and outspeed kommo-o with its speed boost. It may be closer than we realize. Seismitoad, not an especially fast Pokemon.
Yeah.
I definitely don't know my Seismitoad versus boosted kommo-o calcs off the top of my head.
Seismitoad's faster now, and that's all that matters.
And Hitmontop.
Oh, no.
Wide guard. It's not the Muddy Water, is it? Hitmontop famed for its wide
don't
guard.
Be the Muddy Water.
Oh, no!
Oh, man, that's brutality. And Earth Power would have been definitely enough to pick it up. Luckily, going for the Gothitelle instead. There's no way that KOs.
Just trying to get all the health back,
trying to heal up, especially knowing that Gothitelle has no offensive presence. It's purely support.
And is likely to get Trick Room up right here.
That's pretty unfortunate considering the size. Rain is running out, right? Yeah, okay. So you still do have that Earth Power pressure.
But Hitmontop may be faster than Seismitoad, and so threatening that close combat for the KO versus Seismitoad. Gothitelle, obviously, with no offensive presence, no heal pulse to try to save that Seismitoad. Probably just a target for another Drain Punch to get that kommo-o even healthier, and there's nothing you can switch into that. You don't want to bring Mawile into that +6 attack.
No.
Drain Punch.
You Gothitelle just protecting. You need that Shadow Tag to stay afloat. Close combat into that Seismitoad, revealing that it is indeed slower, and it makes a lot of sense because just based on the way they were probably trained, Seismitoad going to be fast to take advantage of that Swift Swim.
But now Gothmaw. Now you have the Gothitelle in under Trick Room, threatening that kommo-o, and it should be enough to kind of stop this rampaging, drain-punching dragon.
That was quite the alliteration. I respect that. Mawile returning to the field. See, what you just said was a mouthful, so Gothmaw provided you with 3 mouths.
So glad to have it. We'll have to see what Hitmontop can do. Really, probably not much, but it can't switch out to Volcarona either because of that Shadow Tag. That Shadow Tag maintaining the pressure on this kommo-o.
Yeah, you have to keep the pressure on the kommo-o because the instant that you attack Hitmontop, he's going into some other support thing. I have no doubt. Oh, I mean, no. We know Volcarona's in the back. He's just going to press Rage Powder when he gets the chance. So this is the turn that kind of matters a lot. We know there's no heal pulse. There's so many tech moves that could have been that would just make this so much better.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of because of Shadow Tag. A lot of the options are simplified here. The player's going to go into kommo-o. It can't switch. Going to need to try a double protect. But it's already done so much. He's going to get another close combat onto Mawile this turn, and then you have Volcarona coming back in later. If you can just deal with this Politoed somehow, you're set.
All right, all you need to do here is not miss, because we've seen all the attacking options from Mawile, and one of the notorious little bits is when you don't have Iron Head, you start to miss. Goes for the double protect, succeeds because Shadow Tag is gone. Oh, that's so brutal. The Play Rough does go into that slot. There was no reason really not to, as long as you assume that you won't get the double protect. The close combat goes right back into it. Just hang on with an inch. It's looking rough.
Yeah, kommo-o still, though, under threat, can now switch just to save the kommo-o.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised to see that. It's still a valuable Pokemon even without all those boosts. But you are probably going to have to give up the boost. Hitmontop likely to just get undersped, so outsped in this Trick Room by Politoed, and KO'd with Scald.
Yeah, kommo-o getting out of there. One of the neat little things about it is that the Drain Punch can enable it to have situations where it can belly drum again later. Mawile just going for the protect, realizes that those close combats are really annoying. Politoed's time to shine right here as the Scald goes into the Hitmontop slot, picking up the KO thanks to that rain.
That was a little bit of a risky play from James' side, not even threatening the damage against kommo-o. If it had just Drain Punched Politoed, game's probably over, because then you just protect again and Trick Room's
I think that was a risk you were willing to take. Because to me, I think that Matthew's patterns have shown enough that he was going to play it safe and switch out. And, I mean, in this situation, it wasn't even that big a detriment.
Yeah, so now Gengar and Volcarona in. No Protect burned on either one. I believe one turn of Trick Room left. And so should be able to just get rid of that. And then it's difficult. It's going to be up to Politoed. Not something you say too often, but the damage output's going to need to come there. And
not something you like to say too often.
The bulk is going to have to come from there. Gothitelle already taken so much damage.
Yes.
Mawile already taken so much damage. Neither of them's going to be able to take attacks from Gengar and Volcarona once this Trick Room is gone. It's going to be Politoed.
Yeah, definitely. It's rough. I mean, one of the most difficult things about this is that the health advantage is just purely on Matthew's side. James not getting the double protect of his own, but seeing the Rage Powder instead of the Overheat. No reason to really burn that attack stat just yet. The Shadow Ball being very safe, covers that Sucker Punch option, removes the Mawile from play.
Yeah, just very safely gets rid of Mawile.
Scald has to go into that Volcarona now, but we've seen earlier that it just wasn't enough, even in the rain, to pick up that KO.
But also not enough damage to trigger that berry, thankfully.
Yes. And unlike the last game, he shouldn't be able to attack his partner and successfully activate the berry. We see Gothitelle return to the field, but there's no way it's going to be able to take a Shadow Ball at this point.
Right. I mean, maybe it can protect itself for a turn, but Politoed won't have the offense to get rid of Gengar, and so eventually that Shadow Ball is going to land onto Gothitelle, and then you're just looking at the rest of your team versus Politoed.
It's very difficult because it looks to me that your situation is becoming get one KO, go for the Parasomp, but kommo-o generally have that soundproof ability, so even then it's just staring you in the face that your win cons are just draining away. Scald hitting that Gengar doesn't even do 50% in the rain, no burn to kind of try to create the opportunity for the double protect on the Gothitelle slot, which could have worked out very well. I think he has to go for it again.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to double protect the Gothitelle. There's no reason not to. Shadow Ball's going to be going there.
Yeah, I almost would have liked the Rage Powder just because I don't think that Volcareno's role here is too large. No double protect once again. Only Matthew gets those. Shadow Ball getting rid of Gothitelle. Politoed on its own now. It's looking like the end.
Yeah. A less close game than the last one, but in a lot of ways played out kind of similarly with just surviving the immediate heavy rain offense, getting rid of the big damage threat in Seismitoad, and then having more tools to play that slow, bulky game against Politoed, Gothitelle, and Mawile. And when I say more tools, I mainly mean one really strong tool in that Drain Punch kommo-o.
From round one today, I don't think we expected this to have such a presence in this top cut, if any at all.
Yeah, it's been really impressive to see a way a belly drum Pokemon can be played defensively. Not something I would have expected.
Ooh, if Burn would be kind of nice considering the Soul Blaze doesn't do that much, but nope, no dice. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the highlight moments in this game, undoubtedly, is the wide guard turn.
The wide guard turn, I think, was a big mistake by James to not account for that.
Yeah,
Hitmontop's pretty limited in what it can do at that point. Wide guard is like the one thing it really
back
can do.
Back in the days of Top Moth, that was Hitmontop's job.
Yeah. Hey, its job is to fake out and then to wide guard. And James walked right into it with that muddy water.
Yeah, I mean, Drain Punch makes sense. There's not the Clanger Soul Blaze probably did less damage than that in the previous game, and the health is very nice. You even create a situation once you can belly drum again. Going for the Scald on the same slot. A burn could do something here, but he's just not getting it.
Probably now going to be a Rage Powder and some more Drain Punches.
Yes.
Try to put off the burn for as long as possible. Just kind of a matter of time here. Politoad's going to get low enough in health that it can't take Sludge Bombs anymore.
Going for the Protect instead of the Rage Powder. He knows that he has the tools, the resources to just kind of whittle things down, especially when you heal so much from those Drain Punches. Yeah, Scald going into the Volcarona slot instead of the kommo-o. I feel like you should just target the kommo-o there, go for the burn, and if he Rage Powders, he Rage Powders.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure it matters much anyway.
No, I mean, at this point, definitely not. I think, once again, I don't think there was any huge misplay in the first game. They were both it was very close, down to the last literal second. But in this game, I think James got a little ahead of himself going for that Muddy Water when the Hitmontop was not doing too much.
Yeah, if there was a misplay in game one, it was probably also the Muddy Water.
Yeah, that one's, I think, much more debatable, just because if there was that room for the Protect Shadow Ball play to have a lot of payoff for Matthew, and, you know, the patterns of Matthew's play weren't as prominent as game one. That was, you know, a rougher little situation, but that wide guard, big turn. Well played to both. I mean, that game one was a nail-biter. I had a ton of fun watching that, and I think we were totally spot on saying this was going to be the most exciting game in this cut.
It was really exciting. It was really fun.
Yes.
I'm always impressed by Matthew's play.
Yeah.
That Drain Punch into Volcarona play.
That was very good.
Just brilliant. The combination of mechanics there between the side hit to allow yourself to take the Scald because you're using a negative priority attack, but just a little bit faster than the other negative priority attack you're trying to stop with the Trick Room coming out from that Gothitelle, and it all worked out, prevented the Trick Room, and really maintained control of that game. That came down to the last second, just that one extra Trick Room.
In many ways, that play was fuego.
All right, well, we are going to take a really quick break and be back with Jerry Myers versus Emilio Estrada.
Stay tuned.
Estrada.